there. Chair and a couple of, I need my sliders. And get something to slide your feet on the floor. And so chairs are not one size fits all, and I have longer legs, so I could use a taller chair, so I put the blanket on top of the chair. But if you're one whose feet don't hit the floor and you're swinging your toe or your toes only hit, you're going to want a blanket on the floor to bring the floor up higher. All right. So, and I've got one block on either side, which you don't absolutely need, but if you've got them, let's put them to use. All right, so let's start with the centering and breathing. So sitting tall. So let's see, let's do house breathing. We haven't done house breathing in a while. So this is where we imagine our whole torso from the pelvic floor all the way up to here is a house with multiple floors. And you can start with just 2 floors. The belly is 1 floor and the rib cage is another floor. I kind of like to start with 3 floors. I think most people can do that. The belly is 1 floor and the lower ribs as a floor, and the upper ribs, like up underneath your collarbones here, is the top floor, which I call the attic and the basement. And then on each floor, you've got 1 room on the 2 rooms in the front, 1 on either side, and 2 rooms in the back, 1 on either side. I think that's, keep forgetting I have to keep admitting people, sorry. Where's my cursor? There we go. And so 4 rooms to your house on each of these 3 levels. So that would be, if you did 1 breath in each room, be 4 breaths on each floor. For 3 floors, that'd be 12 breaths. A little math there for you. You know I have a math degree. And your job is to take a breath into each of these rooms, or 2, or 3, or whatever, however much time you have. Just do 1 breath today. And trying to discover which room you can easily do that in, and which rooms it feels like the door is shut and you can't open it, you can't get in. So which rooms are wide open, it feels open and airy, like the breeze easily goes in and out. And you can kind of consider your breath as sort of this little, cleaning tool going in to help clean each room out. And so see which rooms are easy to get in there and clean, and which rooms are dusty, cobwebby, dank and dusty like the basement, and cobwebby up in the attic. Or it's the 2, generally it's harder to breathe high and low, although everybody breathes differently. So you just need to discover for you. And generally the front rooms are much easier than the back rooms. So just taking some time, you maybe have already done a floor while I've been talking, and keep going. And if you practice this daily, you're going to start to stretch your diaphragm in different ways and open up, those pathways, and open up parts of your diaphragm that haven't been used. And that will help you with things like COVID. So it'll be harder for COVID to, get too much of your lungs, because you'll be keeping them nice and open and airy via the diaphragm. So I'm not sure how far you are and how many breaths you've taken, since everybody's breath length is different. So let's just take another couple of breaths. And then as you note, make mental notes of which rooms are the more difficult, which generally is all the ones on the back. But of that set, which ones are the more difficult? And as I say, it's generally the uppers and the lowers. And then if you've done this before with me, I know some of you have, you can make even more rooms to your house. Like I I like to divide the belly into two. The navel is the dividing line, and do a lower belly and an upper belly, and divide the rib cage into thirds, the lower ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs. And so that's 5 floors times 4 rooms per floor for 20 breaths or 20 different places. And you can start to skip the rooms that are open and airy and just hit the ones that are the ones you need, basically all those back ones for sure. And then maybe, some area here or there that you want to play in. Some people feel like, oh, I'd need it more on my right side than my left. So see if you can tell differences like that. Let's begin to add some movement with the breath. So we'll start with the palms down on the exhale, and you can play with your inhale coming into various rooms of your house for some of these more, these more gentle movements where you can easily do the movement, play with where you're directing the breath. So it's kind of like juggling 2 balls. Arms can take a little larger range of motion if comfortable. All these movements I give you only do what's comfortable. Never moving into pain, adjusting for your body. If you only want to move one arm, that's fine. Just doing different range of motions, sometimes out, sometimes up. All right, and then just next time you exhale and your palms are back at your lap, just stay right there. We'll focus on the spine now, a little forward bend, back bend type of movement with the cat cow. Exhale, a rounded spine. Inhale, take in your breath into one of those rooms that you know you need. If you'd like to deepen the exhale movement, you can slide your forearms onto your thighs as you exhale. Slide your hands back toward the hips or even on the chair behind you for your inhale. And you can even fold forward further, fold over your legs, hands down, the shins toward the floor. Exhale from your belly. All right. Next time you come through center, just hold right there. All right. We're going to take some laterals now. Let's start with the hands on the hips and inhale, lengthen. Exhale, a little lean over to one side. Inhale, right back up. Exhale, leaning over to the other side. And so when you lean to one side, you feel how that other one sit bone gets real heavy and the other one likes to lift off. Imagine you have a string attached to that sit bone and it's being pulled back toward the chair, toward the floor, so that you stay well grounded. Even if it gets a little lighter, let it have a little pull down. So it might lift off, but as long as it's got that pull downward, you're going to keep that grounding um, that grounding energy. All right, so let's take it side to side dynamically again. If you want to slide one hand down the chair leg or to your block as you exhale, great. Otherwise, just keep the hands on the hips. Inhale right back up. Exhale, other side. Almost just as soon as you get there, you come right back up. We'll do that again dynamically. Exhale over. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Inhaling up. Now we'll go and take a stay and maybe even add the other arm. So exhale and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, over you go. Find a place for your bottom arm to land and stay. And if comfortable, stretch that top arm up somewhere. That'll deepen the stretch through that side waist there. And we're going to stay here and focus on breathing in perhaps rooms in the back of the house. Keep your grounding, keep your foundation. And then on an inhale, bring it back up. And exhale the arm down. Other side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, over you go. Landing on your chair or chair leg or whatever you like. Staying there, you can add the other arm and find where is your breath going to serve you. Opening up some new place, some new room. Air it out. A couple of breaths there. Exhale from the belly. Inhale into some new room. And then on your next inhale, up you come. And exhale that arm down. All right, let's take a little cat-cow here. All right, ready for a twist? Inhale, arms come up part way. And exhale, twisting, bringing the opposite hand to the knee in front and the other hand back behind anywhere. Inhale, right back to center. Exhale, second side. Dynamically again. Inhale and exhale into the twist. Inhale, right back to center. You go at your pace for your breath, which may be slower, longer, or it may be shorter and faster than mine. All right, let's take this next one, and if comfortable, stay. So go into the twist on an exhale and just stay there, breathing again, focusing on breath into the back or any rooms that you feel you need to get them a little more open. See if you can get the door open. Wait for an inhale to come back to center. Go at your pace and right over to the second side. And again, finding new rooms in the back of or anywhere, wherever you want to open up in your house. For me, it's my back. We'll take just a couple breaths there, and then on an inhale, back to neutral. Arms down on the exhale and go right into cat-cows. All right, ready for the legs? So you need to have your feet on something that will slide on the floor, whatever kind of floor you have. I'm on carpet with furniture sliders. Paper plates work just as well, or some kind of a cloth on a hardwood floor. So we're going to do one side at a time, stretching the leg out on the inhale and back in, bending it on the exhale. Leg goes towards straight on the inhale, as straight as it's willing to go, and exhale, bring it back in. Some of the time you can flex the foot, some of the time you can point. So you get the stretch across the top of the ankle when you point, down the back calf, back of the leg on the flex. And let's start to take the leg out on those spokes. I'm going to flex my foot more because I feel that stretch more in my calf. Top of my ankles don't really need it too much. So, but you can go back and forth or pick one or the other that you feel you need. And then let's pause on one of these angles, one of those spokes, pause, and we'll work the ankle a little bit more by pointing and flexing. Circles, both directions. And hold it in the flex and spread the toes and curl the toes forward. Spread the toes again and flex the toes back like you have strings attached on the top of your toes pulling back towards your knee, like your foot is a puppet. All right, and then just relax the toes and the ankle and go Bending and straightening again, working your way back up to the top. All right, and we'll change it over to the second side. Leg out on the inhale, back in on the exhale. Some of the time pointing, some of the time flexing, or choose one or the other of those that you feel your body needs more. And heading out on the toward the side on those spokes. Find one spoke to hold on and we'll point and flex, circles, both directions. And then let's flex the foot and work the toes, spreading and pointing. You can fold as though to bring the toes back towards you. You can spread them with that. A couple of times, kind of pointing and flexing the toes. All right, and then relax that as you work your way back up to the top. All right, and so you can do that same movement, but give your leg muscles a little workout by pushing your foot into the floor. Use your leg muscles to kind of press down. I talk about using you're trying to like use your heel to dig a groove in the floor, imagining it's like mud or something and you're digging a groove. So I'm really pressing my leg into the floor, works my leg muscles more, and feel your leg muscles work more. I don't like to take the leg all the way straight in that. Um, so it's a little more difficult. You're more than welcome to if you like, but if you don't quite take it all the way like straight, just have a little softness to the knee, makes it just a little bit easier. And I think it keeps those leg muscles working more. When the leg goes straight, it's more toward flexibility. And here we're really trying to strengthen it. And I'm going to turn my foot different ways to work some of the inner and outer leg muscles, dragging that foot back in, pressing it down, turn my leg out, dragging. So maybe just a couple of times playing with turning the foot in a different direction. You don't want to feel this in and around the knee. So you really want your thigh muscles mostly to grab, your calf muscles maybe working a little too. You don't want your knee to feel it. So keeping the knee bent is often what will help with that. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. A little pressing into the floor as you go. And some people have those long, stretchy bands, and those work great to do this kind of thing, to really push into that strap as it's going out. That'll work the leg. And then turning the foot in different directions and dragging. So turn the leg out, leg in. All right. See if that got the leg muscles going a little bit for you. All right, let's come back up to, you won't really need the sliders. Option to use a block, which let me show that in a second. So just working, come toward the front edge of your chair. My heel on this leg is high, so I'm up on my toes. I'm gonna inhale that leg out, exhale it back in. So it's like a half butterfly. Inhale out, exhale in. If your toes, my toes are tucked under and my toes are pretty flexible. If that doesn't feel right, you can use your slider. That'll help you twist a little bit more on that. It'll kind of go with the toes, whereas otherwise the toes kind of get stuck on the floor. But I kind of like that because it gives a toe stretch. And you can bring your toes up on a block and get, sometimes it feels a little deeper. Some people say it's easier with the block, so you can try it and see if you like it. or not. Let's do the other side too. About the same. I'm not sure if I said the breath work. So it's an inhale when the leg's out, exhale when it closes up. Inhale the leg out, exhale back in. And of course, if you want, you can use your slider, whatever you're sliding on, or a block. It's a wooden chair. I don't know why it's squeaky, or if you can hear that. I guess it needs oil, but I don't know where you oil a wooden chair. All right, let's come back to center and take a cat-cow here. All right, we're gonna bring one leg, bring your hands in underneath the back of the leg and lean back and bring that leg, the seats of toes will come up off the floor. And you can point and flex, whirl the ankle around both directions and begin to stretch the leg towards straight and bending a couple times. All right, and then we'll change legs, other side. If you've clasped your hands under the back of your leg, the next side, change that clasp over so it's your unnatural clasp. And leaning back, see if that foot will come off the floor. Pointing and flexing, circles, both directions. And bending and straightening, leg going just as straight as it's willing to go today, and bending it back in. This also is a little arm strengthening work because you're holding the weight of your leg. Maybe you can feel that. And the fingers, because your fingers are getting squished in there, holding the weight of the leg. All right, we're gonna come to the corner or angle toward the corner of your chair. And you'll need the slider under one foot, the leg that's closest to the screen. And we're going to work the leg out on these back angles. And here again, you can turn your foot in different ways. I'm going to go up on the tippy toes and stretch it back. You can rotate the hip out and stretch back. We're working the hip a little bit more. If you scooch more toward the edge of the chair and take the leg back, you can get into these front thigh muscles. All right, and let's walk it over to the other side. So off on the corner of the chair on the other side, slider in under the foot that's closest to the screen, and we'll start to play with getting into those hip rotators. Turning your foot any old way that feels good for you, and needs to feel comfortable on the knee. You don't want to stretch into those ligaments in there, so keep the knee safe. And if comfortable to get into the hip flexor there, stretching the leg more back behind you. That's a nice stretch. All right, and then let's come to center. All right, we're going to come to the arms and shoulders. So I'm just going to kind of lean forward. You can come down onto the elbow or just lean forward a little bit so that one arm dangles down. And just feel like it's got a weight on it. It's kind of being not pulled out of the shoulder, but you don't want to hold that in tight. So just let that whole arm drop, shake it loose, and then circle the arm in both directions. Start to get a little wider, as wide as you can going out. So it might turn into more like an oval, and that's fine. And then if you're sitting toward the edge of your chair, you'll have room to swing the arm forward and back. All right, and out to the side. And some of the time when the arm goes out to the side, my palm is down. Some of the time I'm going to turn the palm facing forward toward the screen, and some of the time the palm up. And that those different movements of rotating your upper arm can make a difference in the shoulder. So if you are working with any kind of shoulder issue, usually you'll be able to get or hopefully you'll be able to get one of those turns that works for your arm and shoulder. All right, we're going to work the arm back behind. So you're going to swing it back and bend the elbow, unbend or straighten the elbow and swing the arm forward. So we're combining arm back, bend the elbow. You need to be forward enough in your chair that you're not running into your chair. So you got to sneak it back behind you, between you and the chair. All right, and you can feel that adds a little extra stretch into the shoulder. We're going to hold it back and stay, and we're going to sit more upright and even leaning back, keeping that arm back there, and leaning forward, keeping that arm back there. So kind of like a cat-cow movement, but instead of bending at the waist, bend at the hip hinge. All right, last time up, and we'll undo that arm and swing circles, smaller circles, other direction, shake it, and we'll do all that on the other side. Leaning forward a little bit, let your arm dangle down, give it a little shake loose in the shoulder joint, make the shoulder feel nice and open, and then start those circles in both directions, getting larger circles kind of out toward the side. And then just swinging forward and back. Move your blocks away so you don't run into those. And then staying upright, we're going to take the arm out to the side with the palm facing in various directions. Sometimes the palm facing down when it ends up out there. Sometimes it faces forward. Sometimes it faces toward the ceiling. And again, any of those movements aren't comfortable. Of course, you're skipping them. You all need to feel comfortable. All right, and then we're going to go for the rotators again. So we're going to swing back and forth, back and bend the elbow. And undo and repeat. Bend the elbow. One more. Forward, back, bend the elbow, and we're going to stay with a little forward and backward movement at the hip hinge. So try not to bend at the waist, just at the hip. And see if you can get a little more back bend, leaning back a little bit more. Some folks feel the stretch more on the back bend. Most people, I think, feel it more on the back bend, but some do feel it deeper on the forward bend. So I like to do both. All right, we're going to kind of unwind all that. Circles again, smaller and smaller. Just keep reversing direction, smaller and shake it loose. All right. How do those shoulders feel? Hips and shoulders. So they call these the four parts, the four corners of our temple, or your body as your temple. We're going to do a little more arm strength work by pressing into the chair. So we're going to take slide to one side and put your hand on the chair. And if your chair has a more cushy part and a firmer part, put the heel of the hand on the firmer part if that's available and comfortable. The squishier it is, the more you can sink in your heel of your hand into that and actually hyperextend your wrist, which we don't want. So if you can keep your wrist on something a little firmer, great. And we're not actually going to stand up out of the chair, but that arm is going to push down as though to lift you or push you up out of the chair. Now with the legs, you can get as creative as your room and your chair and stuff allows. So I like to take my leg out to the side and lift up. So I'm kind of like in a side plank and stretch that arm. So a little arm strengthening there as though to lift my hips up out of the chair, but really that arm is just pressing down. So it's kind of like a little push up on that arm. And I don't actually come up out of the chair, but I do get a little lighter. All right, a few of those on one side, and then we'll switch it over. Scooting toward the side of the chair, finding some place on that chair where you can push down. Just practice pushing down, staying low, and keeping your legs more set way. And then you can get creative with the legs if you like, and you don't have to. I'm just some people don't have this room, and the leg doesn't have to go out to the side. It can go forward if you have furniture or something in the way there. All right, so pushing down a little bit, you can add that arm if you like. So you're kind of doing a side plank. Side plank in the chair. Some nice arm work there for that arm and shoulder. All right, is that about even? And back to neutral. And let's take a cat-cow. And you can roll the shoulders a little bit more in this. So make the cat movement more from the shoulders than from the lumbar or anywhere else. So really round your shoulders and squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. So you're really kind of moving the shoulders and shoulder blades more for this cat-cow. All right, now we'll take our hands back behind us again. So I'm sneaking my hands under the blanket that I have on the top of my chair. Look for a firm part, if possible, that your heel of your hand can rest in. And you're going to squeeze your elbows toward each other. So sit forward enough that you can get your hands back there. And when your elbows are bent, they're not running into the chair back. The chair back. And here you're going to let your elbows go bending and straightening as though, again, it's going to sort of feel like you're lifting your hips up out of the chair, but that's not the thing here. We want the arms to bear a little bit weight, but mostly the shoulder blades to squeeze together as you stretch your arms towards straight. And if your arms are longer or your torso shorter, I guess that's it. Long arms, short torso, easy to get the arms straight. And that's me. I have long arms and a short torso. So my arms go straight and I don't, really go anywhere. So, but if your torso is longer and or you have shorter arms, this one may be difficult because you'll have a longer torso, you'll be a little rounded in here. So these poses aren't one size fits all. So if you have that, try to sit as far forward on your chair and move your hands as far back as possible, and that'll maybe change the physics enough that the pose is more doable for you. Unfortunately, these chairs are not one size fits all, but the idea is just to give the arms a little bit of weight bearing here in the chair. All right, and even just scooting forward and back, if you're pushing into your chair with your hands, you're getting a little weight bearing. Actually, let's do that a little bit. So push into again, if you can have your hands on a firmer part of the chair, better, and slide back and forward. So let's do that maybe a few more times. Slide forward, slide back. And if possible, watch the shoulder alignment so you're not rounded. So back heart alignment is to keep the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together as you do this movement. Sliding forward and back. That's fun. All right, new one there, new one for me too. All right, we're going to bring the fingertips toward the elbows. Fingertips to the shoulders. Keep your back heart alignment. That's the bottom tips of your shoulder blade in toward each other, and swing your elbows forward and up, 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 up. Keep going. Elbows out wide. Point your elbows toward the side walls. Shoulder blades are still together. Bottom tips, check. And then relax the elbows back down. Again, shoulder blade tips in toward each other. Keep them there as you raise the elbows. Up, 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 as high up as they'll go. Pointing them toward the ceiling, then out toward the side walls. Check. shoulder blades in toward each other, and relax back down. Let's do one more. Shoulder blade tips in toward each other. Keep them there as the elbows go up. Have I been saying shoulders go up? I meant elbows. Elbows go up. Elbows out toward the side walls. I think I did say elbows. And then relax down and shake it loose. Whew. All right. We're going to do some standing poses on the side. So let's turn either to the angle or all the way over to the side. We'll do a series of standing poses here. Oops, I forgot my slider. Leg that's toward the screen, it's going to be on a slider. Pick any of those spokes more toward the back half. And we'll turn to face the front knee. Exhale, forward fold over the front knee. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, turning toward the screen, arms out sideways for warrior two. We'll take our flank stretch here. And back to warrior two. Turn toward the front knee, warrior one. And relax everything down. We're going to come to the center and do a sun salute at center, and then we'll do those three poses on the other side. Exhale here. Inhale, arms up. Forward fold, cat or any forward fold. A lunge, hands clasped behind one leg, and as deep a lunge as you like. And then stretch both legs out. A little arm strengthener here. Bring the knees back in, deepen your back bend. And then stretch the legs out and the arms anyway. And we'll bring the legs back in and lunge the other leg. Fold over the legs, exhaling. All the way up, arms up. And back to start. I'll do the standing poses on the other side. Turning toward the other side and set your back leg, one of those angles that's comfortable for you. And then turn to face your front leg. Inhale, and on an exhale, over you go. Inhale, right back up. Exhale, warrior two, turn toward the screen, arms out. Elbow to thigh. Top arm can stretch anywhere for flank stretch. Go back to warrior two. And then turn toward the front knee, arms up for warrior one, and relax everything back in and turn to face forward. And we'll do another sun salute here. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, any forward fold. A lunge. And downward dog, we'll take our legs out and push into the chair for a little arm strength. And then add a back bend. Downward dog again, but this one with the arm stretch. And lunge. The other side. Fold over the legs, exhale. Inhale all the way up. And exhale back to start. That feels good. All right, let's just pause for a moment, take a little scan, see where your body feels that we didn't work it. I feel my shoulders feel really worked, my hips, my legs, my arms. Let's do a couple more twists, I think. So for this next one, you can turn on that corner or all the way around. We're going to twist and hold on to the chair back. So on the inhale, arms up anyway. Exhale, that front arm can come to the opposite knee, or to the chair back is a little bit deeper. And so you're going to be turning to face the wall behind you, or maybe off on an angle. Just feel for you. And we're going to stay here for a moment. If comfortable, one hand can go back behind you and find the chair, some part of the chair seat perhaps, or further down the chair back to deepen the pose. And then hold the twist where you're at and see if you can let go of your arms wherever you're holding and not spring back. So your core strength can hold the twist where it was at. Hold on again and see if you can twist just 1 millimeter more. Feel your belly pull in, hold it as you again go, look, ma, no hands. And then turn to face forward. We're going to stay here and do a cat-cow. All right, and then we have to walk it all the way around to the other side. All right, inhale, arms up. Exhale into your twist. One hand to the opposite leg and the other to the chair back, or both hands onto the chair back. Just pausing here and breathing. And then you can drop that back arm down the chair back or onto the chair seat, perhaps, finding a little bit deeper place. And then see if you can find your core muscles to hold while you let go. And hopefully you didn't unspring. If so, you're pulling yourself into it too deep. You really want to find a place where you can hold on. And then let's see if we can take it in just a little deeper. So just another millimeter. Pull your belly in all into the core, and again let go, and then release back to center. Cat-cow over there. And then walk yourself back to the front. And let's again scan. So see if you can feel what I'm feeling. So that's where I felt we needed to do a little bit more for my body anyway. So maybe for you too. All right, it feels pretty well worked. Let's do some eye exercises. So you can lean back into your chair back and focus your eyes forward toward your screen. Keep your head there, but just let the eyes start to crawl up the wall, like a little bug is crawling up the wall. Maybe it meets the ceiling at some point, and the bug, you're watching the bug, but you really can't move your head. You don't want to move your head for some reason. You'll scare the animal or something. So you're just going to do this. Maybe your head's resting on your dog and you don't want to wake your dog up. See if your eyes can go all the way up toward the, looking up right above the crown of your head, which I know we can't, but that's the direction you're going. And then relax the eyes back to neutral, right in front. Close your eyes at any point. And then begin to take the eyes over to one side, again, like a little bug crawling around on that horizon line. Try not to move your head. I'm actually going to bring my head up to hold my cheek or my chin there because I like to turn my head and try not to turn my head, but let my eyes go. And then you want to kind of really see, is my right eye stretching? Yeah, is my left eye stretching? And then unwind back to center. You can unwind faster. You don't have to follow a bug back. And then let's go to the other side. Eyes following along that horizon line. Oops. Bring your hand up to help hold your head. I can feel my head moving right away. So I like to bring my hand up to remind me. Get those eyes way over. Left eye, right eye. It uses those inner and outer corner of the eye muscles, and then release back to center. And then let's scrunch all the facial muscles up like what we call prune face or raisin face. And then we're going to stretch them all out. You can even blow your cheeks and bug your eyes out. It's pumpkin. So pumpkins and raisins. Scrunch it all up. Poof it out like a blowfish. Pumpkins, and raisins. One more. All right. All right, now let's scan. Just close your eyes and scan. Feels pretty good. I need a scalp massage and ears maybe, but otherwise feels pretty good. Maybe a little head bobble, turning the head as you kind of bobble your head. Turn your head left and right. Yeah. All right, and then ending back to neutral. All right, and let's pause here. Again, you can sit forward in the chair. That works those core muscles a little bit more. If those core muscles get tired and start to burn out, then by all means lean back into the chair. Eyes can be open or closed. Just take a moment here to, and also if possible, set your legs up in those 90-degree angles. Mm. And let's scan from the crown of the head. Soften there. Soften the scalp and the ears and the temples, across the forehead, down the bridge of the nose, and across the nose, under the eyes, into the cheekbones. Soften the cheeks. Release at the hinge of the jaw. Let go of the tongue. Hollow out or open the throat. Release from the base of the skull down the back of the neck. Release from the tip of the chin down the front of the neck. From each ear down the sides of the neck. Relax across the shoulder blades into the shoulder, across the collarbones into the shoulders. Release down the breastbone, down one arm, all the way into the fingertips, down the other arm into the fingertips. Again, come up to the base of the skull and go down the neck into the thoracic spine and into the lower back. Take a breath, relaxing the rib cage. Take a breath into the belly, relaxing the belly. Release all around the waistline, down into the hips, sit bones. From the hip down one leg, all the way down to the foot and toes. And do the same on the other side, from the hip all the way down that leg into the foot, including the toes. Feel free to take a little body scan of your body and see if there's any place that you could relax just a smidge more. All right, and then we'll slowly start to move, wiggle the fingers in your feet, your wrists, get a little more movement in the hands and arms, and then do a cat cow or two. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste, everyone. And thanks to You Call This Yoga for making these classes happen free to you. And of course, they're a nonprofit, always looking for donations to help bring these classes to you. So if you know anyone who can donate, please send them over to the website, youcallthisyoga.org, and have them hit that donate button. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. See you next week.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.